my life changed and probably my life got worse actually. And I'd be crying saying like, Daddy, please stop. Like, he fucking punched me again. He got on the floor and he went, you will fucking listen. I thought I was gonna fucking die.
I think as well, like even your mum kind of turned a blind eye and going downstairs, it kind of shows the fear that he was instilling within the household.
There was times when I was a kid, I used to fucking pray I was dying in my sleep. What he'd done, he broke something inside of me, you know, like where he made me not be able to cry, like, even when I was older.
Would you advise combat sports to anyone?
The biggest thing combat sports gives anyone, regardless of whether you want to be a fighter or not, is self-discipline. I'd seen this magazine. There was a picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme. He had big glasses on, skinny, blonde hair, like a geek. Honestly, that day, just seeing that magazine, like, changed my life.
Is Andrew Tate as tough as what he thinks he is?
In gyms around the UK, there's some guys who you would never expect to be like a killer.
How does someone who's overcoming or going through trauma or a really bad scenario, Gary, get past that?
The Gary I was then is fucking dead, man.
So today we are joined by Garry Bell. First and foremost, mate, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate, thanks.
Do you know what it is? I put a post out on Instagram and the amount of people who requested you on was unbelievable. And being honest, mate, I'd never actually heard of you. But obviously you're a visionary, entrepreneur, podcast host yourself, author. You've got your own gym, K1 fighter. You've done it all, mate. And obviously from the Northeast as well. Now, I absolutely love getting other people on from the Northeast as well, because I feel like I can really get an understanding of where we're from and how we do it up here. So can you tell everyone kind of your upbringing and what it was like?
Yeah, so I'm from Stockton-on-Tees, and I grew up on an estate called Talbury. So when we were younger, it was called, like we used to joke about, saying it was Cardboard City, because the fucking walls were that thin. So it was all like pebble dash on the outsides. So anyway, yeah, we grew up there. My childhood is fucking a bit crazy, actually, to be honest. Hit and miss. So when we were younger, we used to. I've always loved martial arts. So we'd always be watching like the Van Damme movies, the Bruce Lee, and my two brothers and my two cousins, and would either be training on the field and recreating like the moves from the movies, say, or would be training in the local sports centre. So, but normally we didn't really have much money as kids, so when we used to go to the sports centre, we used to have to sometimes nick in most of the time. So what we'd do, we'd get one of us to go to the front of the counter, tell the lady you want to use the vending machine, and one of us would be crawling under, and then we'd open the fire exit, and we'd just be going in, and we'd be straight in one of the classes, whether it was, didn't give me care, you know, whether it was judo, karate, kickboxing, like it could have been anything. Could have been anything. I just fucking loved martial arts.
What do you think that was? What was do you think there was a search for significance? Because I've noticed like a common trend when I've done these podcasts, people who've kind of had similar backgrounds to yourself, I feel like there was a lot of like soul searching, or kind of, whether it was for ego, whether it was a point to prove. What do you think it was, why you were drawn so much to the combat side of things?
I don't know, originally from being young, we've just always loved it. I don't know whether it's because we were three brothers. And saying that, we're three brothers, but we've never, your brothers don't, you're talking to say, oh, that they fought and they hit each other. Like me and my three brothers have never ever had a real fight together, ever. I'm not saying we've all trained in the same kickboxing gyms and sparred together and punched each other that way. We've never ever had like a fight. We've had arguments, but we've never ever fought each other, ever.
Did you have much trauma or anything as a child?
Yeah, so actually when we were younger, so I'm talking now when I was like from like 6, 7, 8, that's when we were doing like the martial arts and be training on the fields, doing the kickboxing. But when we were younger also, we used to see like some abuse from my dad to my mum. So like my dad used to like beat my mum. So we'd like be seeing that. Like as kids, all of us, like, and hearing it. Like there'd be times like one time I remember like I'd be at the fucking top of the stairs and I could hear them fighting downstairs, and I'd be like crying. It must have been about like 7, and I'd be crying, saying like, Daddy, please stop. Like he won't have heard me, but that's how I just remember saying that at the top of the stairs. So, and then you'd wake up and there'd be fucking like holes in the wall and doors and shit like that, and ornaments broke. I used to remember years ago, we used to have these big, I don't know if you remember them, big brass dogs, like or like brass ornaments, and they were massive. But I remember one time my mum must have like flung it at my dad, and I remember one time it was like cracked in half, like it came in half. And I always remember that like thing. But yeah, there'd be fucking the police would be coming around sometimes, like fucking locking him up, or he should be shotting his clothes out the window. So yeah, fucking crazy, crazy part of like seeing stuff like that as like a young lad. They were never like violent towards us or anything. I never like hit us, my mum or dad, and out.
And how old were you when this was going on?
Ooh, I'll have been about. That was going on even when we were younger. Like even when we had like the good times of in the fucking training martial arts and ninja gang, that'll have been going on since I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Did you ever find out why your dad was that way?
No. I never found out why he was that way. I remember when he'd left. He went off with another woman, and I remember the time that he'd left. But that was it. I didn't really have a relationship with my dad like after that. That I remember. But yeah, like when we were younger, and we were from like a council estate. So when we were younger, it was like times were hard sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes we didn't have no fucking electricity. We'd have to open the front door and have the fucking street light in the house. It'd be like that, or even like. I was going to say, like, no, you'd have, like, the TV with the pounds in and that.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we'd have that, like, TV and we'd be putting in, but we'd figure a way out to fucking rob the TV so we could have extra time.
Coat hangers and that.
Yeah, you've done it yourself then.
That's mad, that.
So, remember the gas meter as well? This is the fucking story, actually. My dad done this, so I think it was like a 50 pence thing or something in the gas meters years ago. But he made out of the old council floor tiles, and he fucking put them in the gas thing for the gas. I remember that.
That's absolutely, and this is why it's so important to have them kind of stories and stuff and kind of reflect on what it was like when you were younger, mate, because ultimately, a lot of the things that happen when you're a kid, that is why you are the way you are today. I've seen in your book as well about the fact that there was always holes in walls, like you're saying, he was using like filler and newspapers and stuff. And
that's right. You go in our house, it'd be like fucking newspapers stuffed in the door, and there'd be like bodgy filler over it and stuff like that. Know what I mean?
What's happening, guys? I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you are, please hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and press the notification bell so you don't miss another episode.
Like a bit of a party trick.
Yeah. It was like, well, you sort of become accustomed, like, and it becomes the norm. Like that type of lifestyle, like when your mum and dad are like arguing the way they were and fighting, like the way they are, you sort of like you obviously my mum come off on the worst end of it, but you sort of like become you don't think it's not normal at the time. You know what I mean? You don't. It's not something you go around talking about with as well and saying it with the kids. Oh, did your fucking dad do this to your mum last night? It's not something you would say. Like you probably just think that other people are going through it, and obviously my brothers were there as well, so we'd probably talk to each other, and sometimes we'd just be fucking crying into our pillow on a night and stuff like that. It's like, wait, open the fucking noise, it'd stop.
Because I know that you said, and what kind of moved me was when you said, when you were shouting daddy, and you would never have called him that, so you knew you must have been shit scared.
I would never say, like, even now, like, I would, like, if I say, like, even my kids call me dad, like, I would never say the word daddy. It's like, no fucking word I would use, but, like, obviously, for me being that young and that time, it must have. I remember saying them words, or I remember doing it.
Was there ever a point when any of you or your brother stood up to him, or was that not a thing?
No, I don't think we would have stood up to him. No, we were too young, man. We were tiny.
Yeah,
like, you have to think we were fucking like 5, 6, 7, 8. My older brother might have been 10.
Was this going on with your other friends as well? Like, I know you were saying it's not something you go and talk about. Like, but did you feel like it was normal where you were from?
I don't know if I thought it was normal, but I just thought it's something we never really spoke about with other people. Like, I know that. I don't know why, but because you know it's mad. Like, when situations like this happen, it might sound crazy if you've never been through it, but sometimes it's like you might go through something bad on like one night, but then the next fucking day it's like someone just fucking put a rug over it. It's like you've got so it's not like my dad used to punch the hole in the fucking doors. So it's like having a big hole in the door and he papers over the cracks. So like it's like as everything's forgot about, and then it's just normal. So it becomes normalised. So you sort of get programmed to like believing it's sort of normal. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but that's the only way I can describe it.
Did it affect your school life?
Yeah, it definitely affected our school life. I was never very good at school. Academically, if I'm honest, but I never enjoyed school either. But my life changed and probably my life got worse actually. In fact, So obviously my dad had left, and then my mum had met this other guy, and I must have been about 10. We used to see his car fucking flying around the estate. He used to have like his Cosworth car. I called him Flat Ass. So in my book, that's what you'll hear him as. So I won't use his name. So I use the name Flat Ass. So anyway, she got with this guy, and I remember the time she got with him, and that fucking car pulled up outside, and we were like, "Who the fuck's this?" We heard the music blasting, and anyway, she came in the house, and there was some of his friends with him and stuff like that. And he come in, he's got like a fucking undershot jaw, so he looks like fucking, what do you call it, like the Gruffalo, like angrier version of him. So come in, trying to make jokes and stuff like that, but like, he was just a horrible bastard.
Was he horrible, or was it the fact that you didn't want anyone replacing your dad?
No, I don't. For me, it didn't really bother me. My dad gone, because it was a bit more peaceful when he wasn't there. You know what I mean? It was fucking harder because we had less money coming in. But yeah, it was like there wasn't that sort of like chew going on. And obviously by this time as well, my cousins that used to live with us, like near us, our Chris and Steve, they'd moved by this time. Their dad and that had got like a better job, and they'd moved to like a better estate. So I didn't really see them. I didn't really see them unless I went around with Nana's.
Right.
But yeah, so what were you saying there about the...
I can't remember. What was I saying there?
Yeah. What about the... I can't remember what we were saying now, because I jumped off course.
Flat Ass.
Yeah, flat ass. Yeah. Oh yeah, so she got a new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And anyway, I remember he was just fucking horrible. But there was sometimes he was all right, you know what I mean? But most time he was fucking horrible. He was just breeding his ground, I think. And I don't forget, I was only like fucking 10 at the time, coming 11. We just went into senior school. Anyway, Mum didn't have no money at the time. She done the best she could. We used to have this place, it was called Shamai Fashions at the time. I don't know if you remember the uniform grants.
Aye.
You used to get like 25 quid or something to go and get a uniform. Aye. So we used to have to rock down to the Shamai Fashions to get a uniform. So I got the trousers, the shirt, and I didn't have enough money for a PE top, but the PE top I needed was like a maroon one. I think it had a stripe on the other side, like a reversible. And I'd missed a few PE sessions at school, and I obviously loved fucking PE. So I used to have to get notes all the time. So this one morning, I remember fucking waking up this one morning, and I needed a note. So I was like, Mum, I need a note. So I'm at the fucking door. Anyway, I go in, fucking bedroom, fucking stinking, fucking... I'm like, Mum, I need a note. I'm going to get detention and all that again. I need my PE top. You need to get me a PE top. So she was like, Gary, I'm going to sort it. But I say, you say that all the time. And then he got out the bed, and he was fucking mouthing off, fucking you, don't fucking backchat your mum and all that, get out of this fucking room. And I got out the thingy and that, like, I probably gave him a bit of backchat as well. No, 11-year-old, you gonna. So I fucking walked into like the hallway. It was tiny though, it was fucking tiny. And I'd said to him, he started arguing me and stuff like that. And I went, you can't tell me what to do. He said, you're not my dad. And he was like, I'm not your fucking dad. And he went, and he was like, just really fucking like, just went really aggressive straight away. And he fucking just like, give us a fucking slap around the fucking head. And I was like, fucking hell, I fucking shit myself a bit. And I was like, fuck. And anyway, he hit me, and then he grabbed me and fucking flung me through the like door. Like my mum's bedroom was like on the left, the toilet was there, and our bedroom was over like the banister way, and he fucking flung me through the door, and I smashed my head off the fucking side of the toilet, the bottom of the toilet, like not the cistern, the bottom bit.
Like the base?
Yeah, the base, yeah, smashed me head and fucking bleeding. And I was fucking crying. I remember being on the floor, and I knew it bleed straight away. I could feel the fucking, when you feel that rush. So I was crying. I was like, you fucking cut my head open, you fucking knobhead. And he'd fucking grabbed some fucking tissue around his hand. He's fucking stuck it on my head. And he went, get in your he's ready, get fucking ready now, I'm taking you to school. So he fucking took me in his fucking car. And I remember, actually before this, my brother and that were downstairs. Our Danny had went to school, my younger brother had went to school, because he went to junior still. So he went to Talry, the junior. My brother was downstairs with his mates, and they heard the fucking arguing upstairs. Like this was before he'd shot me on the fucking toilet. They'd heard the arguing. They were like, afterwards I got told that my brother and his mates were on about fucking trying to do him in and that. My brother was a bit older, you know what I mean, at the time. But it never did. They probably got fucking beaten, to be honest. So anyway, he took me in the car, drove me to the school. I used to go to Norton School at the time. I remember getting out the car at the top of the field, and I got out. And I was in the car actually, and I used to wear glasses then, because I used to wear glasses. So I put my glasses on. He bent on my fucking arm, and he battered me around the head. So when he did me, so I tried to straighten it, and the fucking arm snapped off. I was like, fuck's sake! So I'd one arm on my thing. So I got out the car, and he was like, get to school and you make sure you come straight back home tonight. So I got out the car. I was like, fuck off, like that. No, like how you do like sort of thing. So anyway, I was like, this couple of lads came over and oh, you're all right. They must have known. I was like a bit upset, and I was like, oh, I'm sound. It's not wrong with me. It's not wrong with me. And I remember my dad didn't live far from there, so I thought, I'll go to my dad's house. My fucking dad will batter him and me. I hadn't seen my dad for fucking ages. So I ran straight to my dad's. And anyway, he's like, what's up with you? What's up with you? And I was like crying and I was like, Mama's boyfriend just battered me. He just battered me. And then he was like, I'll fucking kill him. I'll kill him and all this. So he brought me in his house. I hadn't seen him for fucking ages. Right? He brought me in his house. He started doing these, he started like putting his shoe. I always remember this memory now that is in my mind, massive. He started putting his shoes on, but no one someone like putting the shoes on, but they're taking ages. Like it might not have been ages, but it felt ages to me for him to get his shoes on. And then as he was getting his shoes on, he was talking, but I don't know whether he was talking himself out of it or he was just mad or angry. And then all of a sudden he took the shoes off and he went, I'll fucking sort that later. And then anyway, his wife had like cleaned me head up, fucking stuck a plaster on that. But as I went into his kitchen, I'd seen this magazine. It was like a martial art magazine. Don't know whether it was like Combat or something like that. Anyway, on the front of it, there was a picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme. And at the side of it, there was a picture of Van Damme. And I'll show you the picture after this podcast, unless you've looked on my Facebook, because I've actually shared this before. There was a picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he fucking looked the spitting double of me, mate. I'm not fucking shitting you, right? As a kid, he had big glasses on, skinny, blonde hair, like a geek. And I was like, do you know that? I'd seen that, and then I'd seen how he looked, and I went, and I already loved martial arts, and I thought, he looked like that, and he looks like that now. I was thought, fucking hell. And that day, honestly, just seeing that magazine, like, changed my life. So whether that fucking hiding I got on that day, that beating, right?
Was supposed to happen.
That was supposed to happen, mate. Do you know why? Because that changed my life. That seeing that changed the way that my mind would work and think.
That's what's absolutely crazy, mate. And I appreciate you telling us that story, because I think that ultimately the magazine equivalent now, obviously we've got social media. So if that one thing can change your life, how many lives are getting impacted by someone who sees a post on social media? Do you know what I mean? It could just be that thing. So it could be a podcast clip. It could be literally what you've just said there might change the next lad's life. Did the trajectory of your life completely change then? Did you feel like I need to get into these gyms, I need to start fighting, I need to start doing this because I can't have these people bullying us?
Yeah, so obviously I was doing the martial arts when I was younger. There was gaps in between my training and competing. So obviously even when I was younger, we used to do like the in-house comps and stuff when we were younger. That's what it was more like then. And then as I went back home, actually, so after that episode, as I went back home, we started. My life was a fucking bit crazy even from then. So was my brother's as well, to be honest. So anyway, we end up moving to like another area. But so before we moved, me and our Danny had to go and stay a flat ass's fucking flat with my mum, and our Michael went and stayed with my uncle. So anyway, this before we moved to like a new estate, Rose, which was a nicer estate, but it was like half council, half private.
Right.
So anyway, we were fucking. You could hear my mum and him watching telly in the room with me and him would just be asleep in the floor in his fucking little spare room. Fucking no telly, no nout. Fucking he was a fucking horrible cunt. Like when you think back. But anyway, then we ended up moving to Roseworth, and my brother was in. He was in the other school, and I decided to transfer because I was only in like my sort of first year. So I decided to like transfer out and go into the school more local. I thought it'd be easier rather than going there every single day because it was a bit of a trek from where we were. But my older brother, he wanted to stay with his mates and that, as you can understand. Anyway, I came home from school one night. I hadn't been there long. We hadn't been in this house long at all. And I came home from school one night and they were fucking arguing. Him and Flat were fucking head to head and fucking arguing. And basically, no blows got struck and stuff like that, but there was an ultimatum given. And he Flat had said to my mum, it's either fucking him or me. It's either him or me. And he said, I'll make it easier for you. I'll go on. So anyway, he'd fucking grabbed his co-op carrier bag with his fucking couple of clothes in. He had his school uniform and he went. And I never seen him for 5 years.
So was that it? Did the break up?
No. Fucking my brother went.
Oh, right.
Mike went.
Oh, right.
Stayed.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
my brother went.
No.
So fucking Mike went. I never seen my brother for 5 years, my older brother. So he was like, my older brother was like our like protector for me and our Danny, you know me, like you all look up to your older brother.
Did your mum not try and keep him there though? Or was she just siding with?
I think she was scared of him as well. To be honest, I think he used to air as well, but and I think like she'd had a bit of a better life with him. I don't know, but she never tried to stop him. She was crying at the time, saying, "Oh, Mike, please don't go," and stuff. But he'd made his mind up and he'd went. So I don't know how much she tried to recontact him and stuff like that. I know he went to live with. This is where it gets fucking crazy, actually. I know he went to live with my uncle a little bit. But then it's fucking mad because he ended up living with my dad.
Bloody hell.
He ended up going to live with my dad, my brother. And like I say, we never seen him for 5 years. That same fucking night, I remember me and our Danny being there and he fucking flat ass fucking shot us in our bedroom. At the time, we had separate bedrooms because I shared with Mike. Danny had his own one, and he'd fucking shot us in our bedroom, no fucking tea. Didn't give us a fucking clip around the head, shot us in the room, took the fucking light bulbs out, and left you in the fucking
What kind of bloke's doing that, you know what I mean?
It's fucking evil.
It's mental,
like, you don't know what's crazy to think like what life my kids have now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it I thought it was normal, you know, like.
I thought
it was fucking
But
normal.
I think though, Gary, by you going through that though, you've set your kids up for the best life possible because you know no matter what, that's never going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And you'll find it's like the whole, you know, there's an example that I use, and it's like there's a alcoholic father. He has 2 twin boys, and one was an alcoholic, and one went to uni and did amazing. And it's like, why did they turn out that way? Well, they both just copied what they saw, and do you know what I mean? So they both literally looked at an alcoholic. One went to be an alcoholic, and one went but they both had the same guidance in life. Yeah. Yet you can be 2 completely different people. So for your kids, I mean, I don't know how much of this story they know, but I'm sure they'll watch us at some point. Yeah. But they'll think, actually, that's why my dad's such a good dad. That's why he's this way. Because it all boils down to what you went through yourself. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people I feel like who probably live in denial and they'll go down the same route because that's what they've saw. But actually, that's not always the best way. Do you know what I mean? Look at the views that you have of flat arse and your dad. Do you know what I mean? And they're not great examples of people. You didn't want to be doing that to people. But I'll always say that, although I would never justify that, you never know what they were battling in their own heads as well. And I think that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's fucking... It's mad to think like that I went through that. And you know, like people might say now, how can he talk about this? How can he even like say it? And like honestly, none of it's for fucking sympathy. To be fair, the reason I can talk about it is because that person's dead, man. The Gary I was then is fucking dead, man. I'm not that weak, vulnerable, like child no more. Know what I mean? I'm different. It took years to change to be who I am now. Like honestly, like another story I'll tell you. We end up moving. We end up moving from that house to the other house, and I'll tell you this one story. This is in my book actually. But I'll tell you a short version of it. So I came home from school one night, and he used to get on with flat arse's nephews. They were like good guys, and his mum and their dad were like sound. I used to stay over sometimes. It was fucking mint staying around theirs. Anyway, he said, "Oh, you need to go to the shop. You need to get some bread." He was making some bolognese. So I was like, fucking hell. Look, he was in a bad mood. I was like, fucking hell, run to the fucking shop. Fucking he there came me that anyway, I was in the queue and the fucking lottery machine was like down a bit, so there was a fucking queue. I was like, fuck's sake. And I had to get this like tiger bread. So anyway, I'd got it as fast as I could and I came back. He went, where the fuck you been? You taking the piss? I was like, man, I said there was a massive queue in the shop. I ran as fast as I can. It wasn't that far. It's probably like from like where, like we are now to like that Morrison's over there.
Yeah,
like what you said. So not far at all. Like I ran as well. Anyway, I'd went to walk off. He went, get out my fucking sight or something. So I'd went to walk off, and I went to walk out of the house with him. He went, where do you think you're going? And I went, I'm going out. You told me to get out of your sight. And he went, you're not fucking going nowhere. And I went, I'm going out. And I the same old trick I used to use is, when he ever used to say anything to me, I used to be like, you're not my dad. That was the one of the things I said. I was a bit older by this time as well. I was must have been about 13, coming on 14, like this time. Maybe 14 even. And he'd said to me, I was in the passage and his nephews were at the door. And anyway, I was arguing with him in the door, and he pushed my head straight against the wall, like pushed it against the wall. And they were like, oh, leave him alone, like that. And he told them to go. He went, right, you go, he's staying in. So they'd fucking went. Anyway, he'd fucking grabbed me by my foot. Well, he hit me in the passage. So we're fucking fighting in the passage. He hit me in the passage. He grabbed me by my fucking hair, right, to the fucking bottom, to the top of the fucking stairs, like by my fucking hair. Fucking dragged me up the stairs. Anyway, my mum was coming out. I remember my mum coming out of the bathroom. I'm like, this fucking get off me and off my hand on his head. And I remember my mum coming out of the bathroom upstairs, and she came out and she went, oh, you better stop being cheeky, Gary. And she went downstairs. So anyway, I was in my bedroom, and me and our Danny used to share this room, and we used to have like bunk beds in the room, no wooden bunk beds. And I fucking remember this story, man. It's fucking horrible, this. Anyway, I was in the bedroom, and he'd fucking hit me again. Anyway, then he'd fucking punch me in the fucking stomach. So I went down, but at this time I wouldn't cry. I got to the point in my life where I was like, he's hurts me, but I'm not gonna cry. I won't cry no more. So basically, I was on the fucking floor, and I got back up, and I was like, I got up. I was like, you fucking daft. Fucking, he picked me up by my chest here. I remember by my chest, there's a fucking bruise on it. He grabbed me and picked me up, and he fucking flung me full force at the fucking bunk bed. So the back of my back smashed into the bunk bed. Now I remember being I went on the floor, and I was like, fuck, all the wind out of me. And I don't even know how I got back up. And I got back up, and I was like, you fucking knobhead, like this, in that type of voice. Anyway, he fucking punched me again. He got on the floor, and he went, you will fucking listen. And he fucking just walked downstairs, and I was on the floor. I was fucked. I was just like, I thought I was gonna fucking die. It took me ages to get my breath back and that. And anyway, yeah. So mad stories that. But what he'd done, he'd broke something inside of me, you know, like where he made me not be able to cry, like even when I was older.
Crazy that, and I think as well, like even your mum kind of turned a blind eye and going downstairs. It kind of shows the fear that he was instilling within that household. That's what's frightening in it. Do you know what I mean? But I think again, you've needed that to happen almost to become the person that you are now. When did you fall in love with K1 specifically?
K1, I used to watch on the Eurosport. So like as he'd gone, I'll skip that now. So as he would gone, I used to be training in like a kickboxing gym and stuff like that. So then I always go on like kickboxing and the martial arts like again. I used to be training every fucking day, and I used to just love it. Honestly, I'd be training on the field, in the gym.
Were you good?
I was quite good. Yeah, I would say I was quite good. Yeah.
So you felt like you had a natural like.
Yeah, I just loved it, mate. Like it didn't matter what martial art, I just loved it.
Was that purely from a love of the sport point of view, or from a running away from something else, like to channel your mind and everything?
No, because I have actually thought about that, because it kind of been from martial arts has helped me, by the way, massively. But I loved it even when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? So I loved it when I was younger, like really as a kid, even though that happened with my dad and stuff like that. But that, and then I loved it even, like I love it even now.
Yeah.
Like
so that just kind of propelled you further into it.
And then K1, someone can correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, sorry. I'm sure, because I used to like Thai boxing, kickboxing, there was no one doing K1 in the Northeast at the time. I'd opened the K1 gym 2006. If any Northeast coaches are out there who started K1 before me, like I don't remember anyone. And I fucking searched. There was only, because K1 is a style of like kickboxing, Thai boxing, do you know what I mean? Savate, it's all like the striking arts to make the ultimate stand-up fighter, say, so to say. It was more of a brand of a sport, but then it became a style.
Yeah,
do you know
its
what
own
I mean?
entity.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's originally how I got into it. And yes, my life took a bit of a mad turn as well, because like I was watching some of these guys on the telly, like Ernest O'Houst, Andy Sauer, Melvin Manoff. I don't know if you know who any of these guys are. So Ernesto Hoost is like probably the equivalent of like what Mike Tyson is now.
Right, I see.
In the K1 world, 4 times world K1 champion. Andy Sauer, he's 2 times K1 champion. And there's a guy with Melvin Manoff. Anyway, I was watching these guys on telly, and it was years and years later, like, but I sort of like manifested, like, I'm gonna fucking meet them. I knew something in me knew I was gonna meet them and train with them, and like. I went to Romania this one time, one of my fighters, I got one of my guys on this Super Combat show, so I took him, and I met Cedric Manoff and Melvin Manoff were at the show. And that's basically how I started to meet most of them guys from Melvin. Melvin had a big show, he's like a fucking superstar in, a world superstar.
Isn't it funny though how you've managed to kind of manifest that? Because you know what's mental, mate, right? I'll tell you a little one here. So I remember when I started doing my business, right?
Yeah.
And I specifically remember a lot of the people who I work with now today, I used to watch them on YouTube when I was at my mum's house, in my bedroom, on my laptop, thinking like, how am I going to get to meet these people? Never mind to a point where now they actually peers, which honestly, mate, like, I still get like, it's weird, mate. Like I get this weird feeling like, but if someone asked us, how do you do it? It's very hard to give you a rule book on what to do.
Yeah.
But it's a case of just don't give up at all. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all about just, and I always say it, and that's a bit cheesy, but back yourself.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, like, nobody can take this podcast away from me, for instance. Nobody can take my business away from me.
Yeah.
But I can. Yeah. I'm the only one that can spoil that.
Yeah.
So if I don't stop, I can't actually lose. And it's the same with anything else. Like, what's your record with fighting?
Like, if you want to talk about, like, my ring fights and my, like, tournament fights, I've had, like, over 40 fights, like, with the ring fights and tournament fights. So, like, I've won more than I've lost. I'm not saying I'm the best fighter in the world. I fucking know a lot better fighters than me. Like, a lot.
Well, even that in itself, right? So, regardless whether your fucking record's spotless or not, anybody who gets in the ring gets me respect regardless. I've never done it. I've never been in the ring. My little brother went for his first white collar fight a couple of weeks ago, and I went down for that, and I was buzzing for him, mate. He got the win. He was a little bit nervous about it and stuff. And I was like, look, like, he had 12 weeks to just train. Yeah. And, like, even for him, I saw the massive difference in him just by training for 12 weeks. He'd never done it in his life, mate. He'd never done it. He was like, I'm going to go for a fight, like, fancy it. Yeah. I was like, just gone for it. For me, in my head, not that I ever believe in losing, but I was like, but even if you lose, you've still won. It doesn't matter. By you just stepping in there, if you get knocked within 30 seconds, you've won. You've already won. Look what you've done the last 12 weeks. Look at everything you've gained for yourself. That's fucking amazing. So it's like, when I start looking at people like yourself who've done this time and time again, then being put on your arse and then all the wins you've had, everything you've done it's just a testament of what can be done for anyone. Yeah. Look at the upbringing you've had. It's literally, you know, it's arguably one of the worst fucking childhoods that anyone could have. You didn't want to be fucking crying and seeing this shit gone down to... And people will have had it worse as well.
Yeah, fucking
But
right
ultimately, you're still a lovely bloke now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can just tell you've got that about you. So it's like, it doesn't matter what you go through. It doesn't mean that's got to be the path of your life. You can still do something for yourself. When did you start getting serious about opening up your own gym and stuff?
To be fair, I've always sort of like, even when I was training at other gyms and fighting for other gyms, I was always the one who wanted to help out. So I was always the one who, I was always wanting to give back. Like, would not have any, like, I didn't want pain, nothing like that. So I've always had like an interest in like helping people, like, and trying to make people better. So when I first started my gym was, like I say, 2006. But I was still training at other gyms then. When I first started my first gym, actually, I actually had me and my brother had a valet business. It was fucking tiny. It was like probably the size of this room, what this full room is now. And it was smaller because you couldn't even open the doors with one of the cars. So we'd got this valet business, and upstairs was like a tiny fucking room. Like size of a 14-foot like boxing ring, say. So we'd like done that, and that's when I'd started my first gym. It was like above there, I had like 2 members or something.
That's mad.
So it was fucking mad.
Is it hard to open a gym and sustain it?
Yeah, I've honestly, like, business wise, if you want me to talk about that, business wise, I've fucking lost my gym a few times actually. Like my business, like with the gym.
Is that just pure lack of members and stuff, or
just like me not running the business properly, or lack of members, or just something would go, like something would just go wrong. Like honestly, something just used to, when I was younger, something just used to go wrong. I used to be called the fucking black sheep. Like it would, if someone would go to the seaside and get like, oh, me and my brother's rocking that, man, I'd be always fucking cracked or something. And like when I'd be doing something like in life, like it just always fuck up. Like it just like I'd get a job and then all of a sudden there'd be no work the next day. I'd go in there, and so something had always, so like it'd feel like that. I don't know whether I was putting that in the universe though. Know what I mean? Like that negativity, like out there. But my gym I had there, we got like a few members. Then I moved from there to another like gym. But all in the meantime of having these gyms, I was still fighting. I was still going to other gyms. I still, like, obviously had my own. And I still was working as well. So I was like sort of like a self-employed, like Carvalho. My brother had left that business, and then I was working between that and the other one. And basically, it fucked up. And then we ended up going mobile. We ended up going mobile in the Valley. We used to have, actually, this is a funny story. We used to get my nana to have the phone number. So like, and the thing, we used to make her answer the phone, but would fucking ring her all the time and be like, oh, your nephew, the lads have been round the Valley, the car, they've put scratches all over it, and she'd be like all panicking, ringing us. You're going to have to go around there and sort that car, you're going to have to sort it. So we'll be doing stuff like that to her all the time, like winding her up. But yeah, so we moved from there, but in the meantime of all this, I wasn't just spinning one plate. I was like fucking loads of plates, spinning different business, because I weren't making no money. You know what I mean? Like I was struggling to make like money. I loved teaching people and I loved martial arts, but I also loved doing it myself as well.
If you don't know by now, I run a business called The Content PT. I create content for influencers, PTs, online coaches and fitness brands all around the world. So if you are someone who's in need for sexy content for your social media, or you really want to maintain a competitive edge in your industry, drop me a DM on Instagram.
So I think that's one of the caveats that no one really talks about. When you're trying to help people, it often comes into that territory where there's going to be loss financially, because when you're trying to give someone back, it's very hard to be charging a lot of money for your service to try and make it sustainable, because you're trying to give back. But then if you're trying to give back too much, it's going to be hard to run a business. So it's like a bit of a chicken egg situation with that. I don't know if I saw a clip. Have you trained with the Tate brothers?
No, I haven't trained with them. My friend Amir, he's Andrew's coach. So I'm good friends with Amir.
At Storm Gym?
At Storm Gym, yeah.
Have you trained down Storm Gym?
Nah, I've been down there loads of times. I haven't trained there. I've had, like, he has super fight series. I've had fighters on his show. He's just like, yeah.
What does he say about them? The reason I want to mention Andrew Tate, obviously he's a hot topic, right? And
like Andrew Tate.
More school man on the planet, but is Andrew Tate as tough as what he thinks he is?
Andrew Tate's a credible fighter, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Andrew Tate's a credible fighter. So's his brother Tristan. Both good. Believe me, anyone who knows anything about combat sports and know Amir and Storm Gym, you don't get shit fighters coming out of Storm Gym. Like most high-level fighters like Andrew Tate and Tristan that have come out of a gym like Storm Gym and been trained by Amir, fucking Bosnian fucking hard fucker, right? You're going to be nails. I'm telling you, like, people might look at some of the videos he's putting online and thinking this. Andrew Tate's always been very awkward and unorthodox as a fighter. Like, always. Even before he got famous, like, before this, he was always that sort of style. But I think, do you know what it's like? It's like when you judge someone from the outside and then you're actually in front of them and you try and do something. People can't do what they want to him, what they believe they can, because his IQ is very high.
Because obviously, I know that obviously he was world champion, Andrew, wasn't he? So a lot of people are looking and think, well, K1 world champion, like, how credible is that? Because he's got an image to live up to. And that's why I thought, I mean, not taking anything away, I've never met the bloke. But I just thought, how credible is it? Obviously, you're the guy to speak to, because, and even better, because you know the guy who trains them. So I just want to know, like, how credible they were, and it's nice to hear that. Like,
everyone who knows this sport, like I'm well known in the sport I do. Like I say, I don't say I'm the fucking best fighter in the world. I'm not saying I'm the best coach, but I'm known in the sport. You can ask most people who K1 in the UK, and they'll probably know me or have heard me from somebody else. And Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and Amir, everyone will know them guys are. Everyone. Anyone who knows anything about any gym from any decent level of fighters will know any fighter that comes out of a Storm gym, at a certain level, the level of like Andrew and Tristan will be good.
Do you think they'll know you?
Andrew and Tristan? Nah. Tristan actually fought Tristan fought the guy that two of my guys have fought. Two of my guys beat the guy Tristan fought. Tristan won his title against, I can't remember what title it was. So Tristan fought one of the guys, and two of my guys had fought that same guy, and my guys have won as well. So I've seen them at shows and stuff when I've been down there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
of
I've
course.
seen them, but like never spoke to them. Like I've seen loads of guys who at fight shows and circuits, but you might say all right to them, but you have to think that everyone's you especially when you're a coach, you're there for your fighter, so you haven't really got time to like socialise that much unless you really knew them. Know what I mean? Then you would, yeah.
How much was money a driving factor for you, Gary? Because obviously growing up, council estates and stuff, and kind of when you said when your dad left and stuff and there was no money around, how much of that, because you can tell you're a grafter, like you're a hustler, you can just tell. I often find that the majority of people that get on are this way and all, because like we're all the same type of people in a weird way. How much of what you've done has been about money?
I would say obviously that if I'm going to say this is the truth, and this is what I stand by right now. All my life since I was younger, I always dreamt of having money and being rich and blah blah blah. So originally when I first started my businesses, the gym, the valeting, the plumbing, the building, whatever I've been involved in, I used to chase I used to think of money more than the work. So, but I think in these you can't think like that. You can't just chase the money. Yeah, you need to chase the dream. Yeah, if you try and chase the money, nothing comes. So I've found the most time I've grew within the last 4 or 5 years is when I've concentrated more on growth rather than money. Yeah. So having growth and setting daily goals and weekly goals and monthly goals, that's when you see more revenue. So just say, for instance, I look at my business now and I think, right, I'm turning over this X amount a month, and then I look at that and I don't turn any more money over the next month, or it drops down, then I might look like I'm failing in business. But if I look at it like a growth thing and think of it like by members, so break it down and think about members. So how many members have I got? How many members do I need to grow per month? So, and then that's what I try. How many members am I going to lose? So you have to expect that to win, you're going to lose. You can't just keep fucking winning. And who would want to win all the time? If you're just winning all the time. Honestly, if my life, I fucking like it when things fuck up. Do you know why?
Like
it keeps me hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it keeps me hungry. When my business is all I don't, and this is another thing I don't have in business. I've never had this. And people always say to me, actually, some people think I'm crazy when I say this. I don't have a safety net. So I don't know if you do, and I don't know for the people, but me, I don't have a safety net. And what I mean by that is, if I had a safety net, I would stop growing, I believe.
100%. You need the fire up your arse.
I need the fire up my ass, yeah. So it doesn't matter whether I earn £1,000 a month, £10,000 a month, you know what I mean? Whatever I earn, if you earn X amount a month and you're driving a nice car, you're having a nice holiday a year, you've got a nice house, you can provide for your kids, you're eating, then that is a mint life. And most people are happy with that. And it's not that I think there's anything wrong with that, but for me, it doesn't get me out of bed on the morning.
Do you know what's crazy, mate? So it's funny because where I'm at in business, mate, I've been I'm grateful. I've worked hard, but I've been surrounded by a lot of people who've got the Lambos, they've got the nice houses, they've got the penthouse in Dubai. And because I've got to work on that level, even like world level athletes and the people I've kind of been around, I've seen it all. And you know what's weird? It's almost like I get to live through them. So it's like I'm not in a position to buy a Lamborghini, of course, but like I almost don't want them things as much anymore. Right, when I'd never experienced it and I was just a lad living at home, I was like, wouldn't it be meant to buy a Rollie or to do this or to... Like some of the things I've done or being able to experience it would cost the average guy hundreds of thousands of pounds to do that. So like I don't understand, like for me, I've been able to understand rather that it's not always about the actual thing. Do you know what I mean? It's about, there's a famous quote, it's not it's not the pursuit of happiness, it's the happiness of the pursuit. And I think that's really important, because once you lose that, as you say, that fire goes, and the next thing you know, you're in the safety net zone and you probably stop growing. And I feel like all the top entrepreneurs in the world, I try and take advice from as much people as I can, and they all live exactly like that. So as soon as he said that, wasn't a surprise to us. Because I thought, he's not a guy who's got a pension pot. No. Do you know what I mean? He's a guy who's just literally winging it. And I think that's what I do. I just wing it.
You have to. Honestly, mate, I've had so many fucking businesses, like, that have fucking failed. Like, mate, when COVID hit, actually, I had 2 fight shows planned. Anyway, I had a big one planned at the fucking Doncaster Damm. Have you heard of have you ever seen the movie Kickboxer? So we had, as the special guest there, we had Tong Po.
Shut up, man.
So we had him. He was coming to the show. He was at the big UK martial arts show. It was going to be huge. And then we had one in Newcastle. Anyway, the one in Newcastle fell through. First of all, I fucking invested money at the one in Doncaster, with like invested money in promotion, banners, whatever, and posters and stuff. We promoted it. Anyway, the both got shut down with all the bullshit that happened with the COVID. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, like, when things are against, when things don't go your way, and when things don't go your way in business, you'll always find like other things to do, or you should be trying to find other things to do. So when my businesses are closed and everything was closed down, and then my gym got closed, then 2 promotions got closed, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I had no income coming in, because not all the members just stopped paying straight away. Yeah. Like, see, literally they stopped paying. I was like, what am I going to do now? And I was just like, I was bored in the house, and I was like, wouldn't it be good if you started like a game, like blah, 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 playing. I was playing cards with the kids and stuff like that. My wife was still working because she was a nurse. And then I came up with an idea with this game, like jab, cross, hook. I just dreamt it in my head. So I fucking woke up, wrote it down in my phone. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then when I got up next day, I got some paper and I ripped it in half and I wrote on this game. Boom, boom, boom. And I started like pretending I was playing it with myself. And I put a bit more thought into it. Anyway, then as I put a bit more thought into this game, I created this game, like it's on paper, I made it on card, played it with my kids, and they were like, yeah, it's good, this. And anyway, I was like, I'm going to fucking just make it. So I said, well, I'm just going to make a game, I'm going to invent this game. So I contacted this supplier from China, and I didn't even have any fucking money at the time. That was the fucking thing. Like, I'd spent it all on all my savings when the gym had closed. Now. So I ended up getting this game, but it's on Amazon Prime now. It's actually in a few shops as well.
Is it really?
So yeah,
that's unbelievable.
So,
that,
just by that's what I mean. Just by having that like fight inside of you and the fire to keep going, even when things are all against you and falling the fucking bitch. Like, and I'd lost money at the time as well, so I'd spent all my savings. It was a hard time. Like, nearly lost my gym. And after that, that's why I hadn't promoted the game as much as what I could have after like COVID, because basically when I went back, I lost all my members. And then the gym had opened again. Then it got fucking closed again, didn't it? So we're like, fuck's sake. So they had done it again, so I had to rebuild it even again.
See, it's being able to pivot, and I think that's what makes a true entrepreneur, someone who can actually adapt to change, because I work in the world of social media, mate, and it's that fast-paced, it's frightening. Like, I know what makes me money now will not make me money in 6 months or a year. Like, I know that's a fact.
Yeah.
So how the hell can you plan? This is why it's like I could be in Dubai in 2 weeks' time doing something completely different. So like, it's really hard for me to try and understand, right, okay, this is what I'm doing. So I'm currently working on something now which will help a lot of people, and I'm very proud about this. But you know, it's the same thing. It's like, do you think you're born that way? Because like everything you just said there, waking up at 2, 3 in the morning, writing notes, like, I'm exactly the same. Exactly the same, mate. Like, I get excited to wake up.
Yeah, I do.
To do things.
People hate Monday, I fucking love it.
This is what I mean, mate. And I don't think, whether it's video work, whether it's podcasting, whether it's a gardening business, I'd be just as excited, because I'm excited about the thing. Do you know what I mean? Whatever I'm doing, I want to do well. So it's like, do you think that's something you're born with?
I don't know. It has to be, doesn't it? Because when you hear, like you say, even when I talk to people like you, and you saying the same to me, it has to be something. It has to be some part of our DNA inside or something.
Because I imagine a lot of people would say to you, Gary, what you doing, man, in a game? Like, you need to make some money, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, they'll think you're crazy.
Yeah, they fucking did.
However, that game goes to number one. You're making a few $1 million off it, for argument's sake. How crazy were you then?
Yeah. People have always said I'm crazy. Like, I know I'm not normal, but I like it. I don't want to be normal. Who wants to be normal?
Mate, I'm fucking loving this, because it's like everything you're saying, I'm like, fucking hell, it's mad, because it's very hard that you meet people in life who are like that. Do you know what I mean? I think it's one of those things. Did you lose friends in your journey, or have you had a good support network?
To be fair, if I'm honest, I would class myself as like a, what would be the word? Like a
lone wolf.
Yeah, like I'm a lone wolf. Yeah, I'm a sociable loner. A lot of people know me, but I really hang with myself. And the reason I do that as well, because like I don't mind my own company, you know, and I think sometimes, like, unless this is now to do against people and friends, but I like to be around, like, that's why you know, when you asked me earlier about the podcast before we done this, that's why I like to speak to people like this, because it's speaking with, like, sometimes like-minded people. So, and I like to be around like-minded people. I like to be around people that can make you grow. You are the 5 people you're around the most, you know what I mean? So I always say to people when they say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I say, find somebody who's where you want to be.
Yeah.
So find somebody where you want to be. I've got friends who in the industry, what I do now, who are fucking miles higher level than me in the gym industry. Not as martial artists, I'm not saying, but in the industry, with the way their business is, the way their business model is. Like, so I have business mentors. I don't know if you do it. The best thing I ever done was have business mentors. Why? Keeps me accountable. I love people keeping me accountable. I love it. My job as a coach is to keep people accountable. So I like people. Even I've like I think 7 people working for me. I even like I don't like staff who just want to turn up. Yeah, I fucking hate staff like that. I like staff to use their own initiative. I like them to work for themselves. I don't even like to really tell them what to do. I think they should know. I'd give them a micro meeting, and I like people just to get on and do the work and bring their personality and creativity into the role, because they're doing a role what I probably couldn't even do. Oh, well, I've done them all. The thing is, I've done them all before. So when I'd just say in my gym, I'd do reception, I'd be coaching all the time, I'd be doing the advertising, the marketing. Like, there's certain people that can do this stuff better than you. It doesn't matter how much you try and do it. So a lot of work needs to be outsourced, and you're only one man. So
that's why you've got to drop the ego in going, right, he's better than me at this. It's like, right, so for instance, I'm a videographer, right, by trade, that's what I do, right? My video guy who does a podcast, he's a genius. Let him do the genius work, because he can do it better than me. So, but if I try to be like, no, but I'm the video guy, I've done this, that, and the other, then that's going to actually limit where I need to be. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to actually do that. And I think it's the same as you, like, by being able to delegate or outsource and doing this podcast as well. I've actually said this before, but I'm literally, the way I look at it is, I know it's quite mad to say, but I'm the thickest person when I'm on a podcast, because I always want to be with someone who's better than me in what they do, obviously, because that's how I learn. If I came on here and knew more about fighting in K1 than you, then what's the point of having you on the show? Do you know what I mean? I need to be right. What can I learn from Garry today? What can I learn? What can the viewers learn? What kind of values he got? Would you advise combat sports to anyone? I would advise anyone to get into combat sports. The biggest thing combat sports gives anyone, regardless of whether you want to be a fighter or not, is self-discipline. Like, self-respect. It makes you feel good. Even if I've known guys who have trained with me, like, and I've known them even if they haven't gone to martial arts, but they've gone on to do better things in life. It gives you more confidence. And don't forget, when you're the best thing about a martial arts gym, and I always say this, and probably even a boxing gym. I used to do boxing actually, but the best thing about a combat sports gym, I would say, than anything else you can do, is that anyone can be in that gym. And in a combat sports gym, everyone is treated as an individual. So you could have someone in your gym, say, who's a policeman, a solicitor, a plumber. There could be a fucking drug dealer. There could be anything. You could have anyone within your gym. But you always see the real people in a gym like mine. Not a weights gym. That's different because you can mask behind muscles. But in a gym like mine, you can't hide behind that, because there's guys in gyms who are tiny, some guys big, and these guys are fucking hard, man. You might think there's hard men on them streets. Some of these guys think they're hard men. I know guys who are just normal family men who would fucking rip them in your asshole, most of these people. There's, in gyms around the UK, there's some, well, around the world, there's some guys who you would never expect to be
like a killer. I don't mean a murderer killer, but they're actually like they're fucking deadly, mate. Some guys are just deadly. But what I'm trying to go back to there is like, what your class is individual in the martial arts gym, so everyone's treated the same. There's no difference. Like even the same as kids, like kids in the gym might come in hours and they might have like they might have like learning difficulties or something like that. But in my gym and other gyms I know, we treat everyone the same. As school, what school does this? Is why I don't agree with education. Education, this side of it, where you go to school and they segregate you with like certain. I was at school, so I was in the numpty class, like, and then they put the smart people together, blah blah blah. I don't believe you can get smarter doing that.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Well, you're not saying you can't. It's very hard to get smarter doing that. You always want to be in a room where there's smarter people than you.
Exactly.
That's how you get growth, yeah. So for me, if I was in a room with people, I want to be the one who isn't as smart. But what you don't want to be is be around other people who just think like you as well. Because even though you might start thinking smarter, you want to start leveling up on the mindsets of other people that have their minds already in a different dimension to even yours to level up. Yeah, and I think that growth, that's what you get from martial arts. You don't get that at school. Like, it's an individual thing, and that's why people in martial arts are different, because they understand that to treat people as an individual, not as a category. Like, as a school, you'd be treated as like a category, say. And
I think that, that's in the human mind's crazy, because you literally absorb everything, don't you? So it's like going back to Andrew Tate there, one thing I do like that he does say, he says, if you surround yourself by, say for instance, someone who makes ice cream for a living, if you sit down with them for hours a week, you'll end up knowing the price of ice cream, where it's manufactured, how to get it, how to sell it, how to distribute it, at what temperature. You'll know everything about. You could probably start an ice cream business just by spending time with someone, and that's what I'll try and do. I try and take on so much things, like, and I implement into what I'm doing every day. So the gym is a place where, as you say, these lads that come off the street, these so-called hard men and that, they get humbled really quick. And I've been around a lot of gyms and I see it all the time, and it's like, fucking hell, I thought he was tough, him. And then he's coming here and he's the newbie. He's getting humbled by some 15-year-old. Do you know what I mean? And it's class to see that. And I don't mean bad for them. I just mean it's good for them. They should be getting humbled and they start to understand. Do you notice that? Do you get a lot of lads who think they're somebody and they come all in and you think...
Do you know, normally, if anyone comes to me and says, I want to be a fighter, I know they're not going to last 2 minutes. Because nobody... The thing is, when you come in my gym and you come in man, I want to be a fighter, you've probably already got a bit of an ego about yourself, because you would never go in the gym and say that. And then when you go in that gym and you train them with guys who can actually fight, and then you start sparring with them and they kick your ass, because it will happen. There's no way it's never going to happen. Otherwise, what's the point in having martial arts?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of having it if it didn't work? So I've seen it happen so many times. Sometimes it's a good thing that when guys get humbled, but the guys who say they want to fight, or they're supposed to be a hard man, say, they're the ones who normally don't come back, and they'll make excuses. Yeah. If I'm honest, I've got a bad knee or whatever, like, they'll make excuses.
It's interesting that, like.
Yeah. So the ones who say that, the ones who just come and just want to get fit, or they've been bullied, or they're very shy, these are the ones who I've seen shine the most.
Because they're doing it for everything other than ego.
Other than ego, yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Because ego's the fucking killer. You need an ego, but too much ego is not good. Yeah, you need to be able to control it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gary, you've got a book, right?
Yeah.
What was the reason why you've got your own book? Because a lot of people nowadays are wanking books on Amazon and this and it's top seller and all the rest of it. Why do you think that your book can do someone a favour?
Why do I think? So, I've had not many people know my story. There's probably people who listen to this podcast in my family who don't even know some of the things I've said, and that's nothing, even what I've said.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So even what I've said to you is very minimal to even what is in my book or even what is in my head. A few people that did know me have always said, "Your fucking life's crazy. You need to write a book." So, and I said for years to my wife, I'm going to do a book, And I never ever did. And I'd seen this guy who'd wrote a book, and I'd sort of knew him on the circuit. And then, because I had to get a ghostwriter to write my book. I'm dyslexic. So if you'd have wrote my book, it'd have been like fucking Matrix Code trying to read it, you know what I mean? So anyway, it took like 2 years. My book's more or less finished. It is finished. It's just that I wanted my wife to read over. She already read it once, but a couple of things got changed. And I wanted her to read over it because my book's so important to me that it comes across as me. So when you're reading it, it feels like it's me speaking. Because I did write it, but I wrote it with my ghostwriter. It has to come across like it's exactly me. I want it to feel like it's me speaking. But yeah, the reason, the question you asked, I just went back to that. The reason I wrote my book is to hopefully like help inspire someone who's been through like shit in their life, and just to show that like it doesn't matter what your cards you were dealt, like nothing's impossible in life. There's greatness in us all, and all of us can achieve greatness in our life. I really believe that, and I think the more you live in the past, the more you won't move forward. Like honestly, I don't live in the past. Like I said, the person who I was is dead. That's why it's so easy for me to speak about my childhood trauma and my life and the shit that happened to me, because that person's not me. Yeah, and it's not for me to feel embarrassed about. I used to feel embarrassed about it. So speaking about it, I used to feel embarrassed, like as if, oh fucking hell, that happened to me. What they're gonna think? They're gonna think, oh, people are gonna say, oh, why didn't you just batter him? Oh, wouldn't dare let that happen to me, because that's what people say.
Yeah, of course. Because I think that's naturally, especially from a man's point of view, an ego is going to kick in. Like that's what went through my head. I was like, hang on, that was happening, yeah. And you're. But in my head, I'm like, well, you're a fighter. You should have knocked him. Yeah. But then I know that, well, you weren't a fighter at that age. You weren't that guy. You were a fighter because of a lot of this stuff. Not you weren't a fighter then. So it's very hard to not judge and be like, well, why didn't you just do this? Maybe I wouldn't have done that either. So who knows? Unless you're in that position, it's like it's really hard. I've got a few friends who are mindset coaches, and they talk about kind of like a lot of neuro-linguistic programming and stuff like that. And they'll say, like, if you've been through trauma, put it into a ball and kind of throw the ball away type of thing. And obviously in your example, your analogy there, you said, that person's dead. How does someone who's overcoming or going through trauma or a really bad scenario, Garry, get past that and kill that person?
I think it takes time as well. It's not like something you can do with the click of a finger. It took me a lot of years. Like, my book's called Unmasked for a reason. Yeah, because I used to go around and live in my day-to-day life and nobody knew my pain. Yeah, it was behind. So like, I always used to feel like I'd put a mask on in front of people. I'd be laughing and smiling when really I was sad. Like, there was times like I'll go back to this now, but there was times when I was a kid, I used to fucking pray. I used to die in my sleep. Like fucking die. I hope I die tonight. I hope I die. And like even things like when I went back early and like where I couldn't cry. Like, I actually never thought I could cry. When my nana died, when I was like in my 30s, like I cried, so I never cried since I was like fucking 13 till 30 odd year old. I didn't know I could do it.
It's mad, that, isn't it?
I was just, nothing would do, even though I felt the emotion, but I held it back so much.
Yeah, you almost trained yourself.
I trained because I never wanted to fucking show him that I was hurt. So even though I thought mental pain's worse, so the mental pain he put me through fucking fucked me more than the physical. So mental pain and physical pain are very different, but when you get them both done, it's hard to understand. But sometimes so even though the mental pain's happening, this is what's crazy. When you get a mental pain, but somebody's giving you physical pain, it actually feels good, because it sort of like takes a bit away of the mental pain away, because you've got something else to think about.
Hence the combat sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You cannot really think about much when you're getting strangled or someone's kicking you in the head. You cannot really. Do you know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest things as well. Like, and I know a lot of people who do this, and they do it for a living. They do it at different levels and stuff, and a lot of them do come from like trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned there, Garry, about your book and how even the podcast is quite minimal to what's in your book.
Yeah.
What have you left out that you could share with us? Is there anything else what's crazier than what you've already explained? Any stories where you think...
There's one person who changed my life, and I didn't know who changed my life until it was too late. My mum actually, when he'd left and I'd went back home, because I'd left at this time, I went to live with my nana, and then I came back. And life, when he'd gone flat ass, like life was like good. Anyway, my mum had met this new guy, and at this time I was actually talking to my brother again. I met my brother again, which is in my book. So you'll see how that came about. But anyway, she met this guy. She married a gypsy. She's called Paddy. She's fucking class. Anyway, he was he was class. Like honestly, like he when I think now how much that man changed my life, it's crazy because he had so much confidence. I would say he was a good looking guy, brushed back hair, like always had a shirt, jeans on, always presented himself smart. He was like a proper fucking grafter. He used to go out knocking at doors. But I used to work with him. I used to actually work with Paddy going to do like Reuven. Mate, he couldn't even fucking read, right? At all, right? And he could just he'd say, right, like Garry, let's get in the motor. And we'd jump in the motor and we'd go down wherever, down south anyway, it didn't matter. He would find any location. Without no sat nav. I don't know, he must have had some fucking superpower. But just his confidence and just the way, he was just a good man. Like he was giving, he'd treat all your friends. He was just a good man. Like he just had like that
aura about him.
Yeah, he had that like gypsy magic. Honestly, like
Do you still speak to him now?
Sorry?
Do you still speak to him
No,
now?
he's dead.
Is he
now.
dead?
Yeah, he died, yeah.
Bloody hell. What was that recently as well? Or?
No, it was years ago. That
Was it?
Yeah, years ago.
So you'd credit a lot to him.
Yeah. Like my mum was with him years, and like it's not even that I was like really like massively like close to him, like he was my dad or anything. It wasn't even that. Like he was just the energy he had. He was fucking. He was like he was there, and he was funny. He was witty, and don't forget at this time I was broken, man. Like I was a shell of myself. Now I didn't really speak. I had loads of fucking like feelings going on inside. Didn't know how to control them, but the way he sort of like, I didn't even know at the time, know what I mean? It's crazy looking back now, like thinking back. Because I only thought about this when I was writing my book, that he actually changed my life. Like,
have you ever seen your dad or flat arse recently? Because I wonder how they would think about you now, watching you in the ring and do the things that you've done. And
they'll definitely know who I am. My gym's big where we are, it's well known. They'll definitely know I'm known presence on social. I've seen my dad when my gran died, and my granddad died. Right, when they died, I'd seen him, and I never spoke a word. Never spoke a word. Didn't look at us. It's strange, well, because my older brothers didn't even speak to him now. So I don't have a relationship with mum or dad. None of them.
Do you not?
No. And to be fair, like I didn't got no fucking hate towards them. I don't.
It's just non-existent.
Yeah, it's just like
you've moved past that.
Yeah, I'm in a very, very different part of my life. Like just the way I think, man. It's just like honestly, like none of that, and none of that shit bothers me. Like, and if I'm truthfully honest, and people think I'm crazy when I say this, I'm actually glad all that happened to me. Because you know why? Like I wouldn't be who I am now. Like I really, really wouldn't be. I wouldn't be who I am now. I wouldn't be like a fighter in business as well. Like I failed loads, mate. Like
I think it's really important that you said that. Because I think a lot of people think because the family, you can't shut the door. But ultimately, like you if you can. Some people need closure. They need to just get past the chapter in life, and there's nothing wrong with. I know it's not ideal to not have family in your life, like, but you've got your own now. You've got your own to focus on. You've got all that type of stuff, and I think that sometimes that, although it's your parents, although it's your brother or sister, it doesn't necessarily mean they're right for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I
definitely.
think because I've definitely had certain family members in my life where I've been told certain things, or there's been certain things that, that was the advice. I was like, but that's the wrong advice. Because if I did that, I'd be miserable now.
Yeah.
So maybe it's right for you and what you want to tell people, but it's not right for me.
Yeah, I always think that we outgrow people, or we can. So it's like I treat everything like a relationship. Like I've been with my wife like 21 years now, and I treat everything like a relationship, and like even with friends. And it's not bad to even outgrow friends, because like if somebody drifts off on a different path, then I think that's fine, because like if you were your partner and you are both grown, even though you want different things, like I'll use me and my wife, like she nurse, blah blah, I was business and stuff, but we always like helped each other grow together. Like, and it's like the same with a friendship. If you're on a different path, but your friends are like, oh, now I want to go party and I want to do this, blah blah blah. Like I've never been into that. Like I used to go out and I worked the doors and stuff like that, but I've never really been into that side of it. Do you know what's another crazy thing, actually? When I listen to podcasts and I hear this, like, most people that have been through trauma, right, childhood stuff, or any fucking thing in their life, turn to drink and drugs. I fucking, like, honestly, when I couldn't think of nothing worse than drinking or taking drugs. Do you know why? One, I can't focus when my mind's not thinking for itself. Like, I hate the thought of, like, being drunk. Like, I do drink, but you call me a non-drinker, really, because I don't really drink. I don't want to use that to mask my thoughts. I'd rather my brain deal with that pain and deal with it, because the longer you mask it, it becomes more of a problem, because then you come relying on it's like having a pain, you know, I need paracetamol or something. Like, you shouldn't really take anything. You should really, like, our body's capable enough of healing itself, and so is your mind. Your mind's strong enough to heal itself if we do the right things and take the right steps. But it's not going to happen overnight. Like, and it took me years, a very, very long time, to get my mind how it is now, and even the way I think now and speak now and act now. But I think it was always inside of me. And it's easier now with the likes of YouTube and that, and podcasts like this. There's so many good people out there, you know, like who offer good advice and tips and stories that can help you. Like, do you know what helps people? Triggers. It's little trigger points. You might say something, and that little trigger means something that somebody thinks they're trying every day to do something, but you say one boom thing and it triggers in the brain, it just changes. You see it with martial arts and training, and you see it with business.
Well, look at you seeing that magazine in the kitchen.
Do
you know what I mean? That changed your life. Seeing a magazine, how mad's that? And would you even be talking to me now without that? And
that's
then
it's
fucking crazy,
mate. I should have fucking turned to drugs and drink.
Yeah, well, everything was going.
Everything was going that way. Yeah,
that's it.
Everything was going, and I know people who did, who went through so much less from where I was grew up.
I think it's being able to choose wisely and having that, you know, because obviously once you're intoxicated, drink or drugs or whatever, your judgment's kind of impaired and stuff. And like I've got a friend of mine who said, you know, he was informed to cut everyone negative out of his life, and he went, I realised I was fucking on my own. He went, I was lonely because everyone around us was negative against, but then that made him worse. So he was like, I took the advice on board, but then there was just me, and then he got to the point where he was actually going to kill himself and all this type of stuff, and then he's in an unbelievable spot now, and he's doing very well for himself. So it's like, but again, did that take that to go through? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like there's been certain scenarios or certain friends or certain people in my life where I've had to kind of drop, and it wasn't like I'm dropping him or her or he. It was more of a case of we're on a road and I was veering off one way. They were into other things. I'm not a drug taker. I don't, you know, I might have a pint of Guinness every month or two, but other than that, I didn't. That's not me as a person. So if I go down that route and follow that type of shit, that hedonistic behaviour, and I'm not gonna. How can I be doing I mean, what day is it? This Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
I'm not jumping in the car travelling to do a podcast on a Saturday morning. If I've been on the piss all night the night before, or I'm doing this or doing that, like I'm doing this completely for free. I'm not doing. You know, so it's like, but the hunger's so great. Do you know what I mean? That's what keeps us going. Like, I was buzzing to get here and sit down with you. I was fucking buzzing. I cannot wait. I've got other things going on today which I'm excited about. And it's like, if it wasn't for the mindset that I've got, and if I went down another route in life, fucking hell, I know I'd be deeply unhappy. Yeah.
You've got that discipline. You're self-disciplined. You can see. To be fair, when I've had people reach out to me before about coming on a podcast, and then when you had reached out, I watched a few of your things, and I was like, do you know, I like him. He looks like soundy, and I don't like scripted. Fuck it. When I do a podcast, I don't like scripted. I hate when it's like, oh, and this next question, and it's just like the viewer. It must be horrible for the viewer to see that.
Garry, where can everybody find you? Your book, obviously, I'll put your link in the description. Your book, your podcast, everything. But let people know where they can find you, mate. Because I think the story that you've given today, I think, is unbelievable. I've really enjoyed it. I know the viewers and listeners will have, but I feel like there's a lot deeper to you as well, and we'll probably just scrape the surface. Obviously, your book, you delve in a lot more, so people need to be getting that. So where can people find you anyway?
That's on Facebook and Instagram, and it's Unmasked Book by Garry Bell, and you can just follow me on the page. The book should be out. I'm hoping to get it out before Christmas.
Right, okay.
I'm hoping to get it out. The book will be ready before then, and I'm doing a book launch as well, where I'm going to be inviting people down and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
So we're going to be doing that. People can also find me on Contender Gym. That's my gym. They can follow me on there and even watch our videos and training footage, or even come down and have a session. Anyone, if everyone wants to train, kids, adults, all welcome. And Garry Bell -Contender is my account. So I do have a private one, which I just have like a few people on there, but so probably don't follow that one because I don't really use that one either, actually. So that's it, yeah. But yeah, before I leave the podcast, I would say that the biggest advice I would give to anyone in business and life is you just need to go for it. Like, don't procrastinate on things too much, and don't be stuck in no man's land. Have you heard no man's land? Yeah. So my version of no man's land is basically imagine closing your eyes, and people think too much on the idea of what they're going to do. What I always do, and I've always done this, and I'll do this till the day I die, I take the shot. So imagine you've got a gun with your eyes closed, boom, and you don't know where to go, boom, but there's a dartboard somewhere, and I'll take the shot. When I've took that shot, I've started the journey. I'm not thinking about it no more. What I'm thinking about is what I need to do. So what you need to do is very different to thinking about it. So you actually know when you do that, that means you can know whether you need to go more to the left, more to the right to get to that bullseye. And I think that's one of the biggest things we can do. But we can all dream, we can all say we're going to do this and do that, but honestly, without execution on exactly what you do, you won't achieve nothing. Yeah, you really, really need to drill that into yourself. So have your dream and make goals, set goals daily, set goals weekly, but you have to do it. If you don't do it, you won't succeed, I guarantee it. And you'll come back to exactly what I'm saying. Most successful people say exactly what I'm saying. And then execution, like really, really put all your time, energy into it, and the good things will come. Anyone can achieve greatness in their own life, anyone.
Garry, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Thank
Thanks.
you, mate. Thank you.